We'll call the April 29th Select Board meeting to order. Mike, would you lead us on the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have on the agenda minutes from the April 15th, 2019 work session.
I move those minutes be accepted as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. April 15th, 2019 non-public.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes.
I would second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the April 15th, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
And I'd like to move that we accept those minutes as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The Select Board will meet on the following dates. Work session meeting 5 p.m. Monday, May 6th. Regular meetings 6 p.m. Monday, May 13th, and Tuesday, May 28th. Work sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. Road bans for the town of Plymouth will be in effect from March 1st through May 1st, 2019. A list of the roads can be located at the town hall and on the town's website. Town offices will be closed on Monday, May 27th, 2019, in observance of Memorial Day. The Plymouth Memorial Day Parade will be held at 10:30 a.m. Lineup begins at 10 a.m. at the Armory. All of the above meetings will be held in the town hall unless otherwise posted. Citizens wishing to be listed on the Select Board's agenda should notify the town hall before 12 p.m. the Friday before the scheduled meeting. Alternate members are always needed to fill positions on the zoning and planning boards. If interested, please submit a letter of intent to the Plymouth Select Board office, 6 Post Office Square, Plymouth, New Hampshire 03264. The board is seeking members for a new advisory budget committee and ask anyone with an interest in serving submit a letter of intent to the Plymouth Select Board, Town of Plymouth, 6 Post Office Square, Plymouth, New Hampshire 03264. The chairman has an announcement. The Select Board would like to extend an invitation to local businesses to come to the Select Board meeting and give a 10-minute speech to promote their businesses, new or improved. If interested, please contact the town hall to get on the agenda for a future meeting. Tonight, hopefully, we will be welcoming business owner Sean Hanlon of Plymouth Ford. Thank you very much. Let's see. We'll come back to committee reports. Larry? Jim? Would you like to come up?
Hey, Larry. Hey, Tim.
Yes.
I guess we're here in reference to spraying common last Thursday. It's a company that we use for 3 years. It was for, this spraying was for weeds that are on the common, and I guess there's a question about whether we use organic or not to use organic. So we're here basically to answer any questions that you may have. I think we did everything according to the state law as far as posting it and notifying the public that it was sprayed. and the sign was up. And I don't know if, I think that was the alarm on the type of chemicals that was used versus organic chemicals, so.
So I received a call from, a townsperson that walked through there, saw the signs, researched the product itself. There were 3 chemicals that product was made up of, 3 herbicides, one of which I guess either is Roundup or related to Roundup, and the other 2, this person did research on them and found out that there were, cause like birth issues, birth defects, carcinogenic, and she was wondering if there was an alternative to be used on that, or.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, we're willing to look into that and talk to the company and, get prices and how we can change this. And I also spoke with the individual that had contacted you, and, she was very understanding and understood our situation, and I told her that, once we had a solution, that I would certainly get back to her and let her know what we have decided, and how to correct that. So, I don't know if there's anything you want to add on the
It's stuff you can buy legally at the store and use. It's been used for a long time. It's a tool that we use. It's recommended in seminars. These are the things you use, and most companies are using it. And it's really to follow the label and use it correctly to prevent any problems, which we did. Most of the warnings and labels and things that they have are mostly for the applicator. That's the one that's most at risk. Put the sign out for people that may be chemically sensitive. There's been a lot of studies, I know, about it, but.
Yeah, I did some research too, as far as like where you can get it. Well, obviously you can get it at most any, hardware store and stuff, and, yeah.
We use it correctly and post it. And the timing is correct, so it does what it's supposed to, so you don't have runoff or residue. It's rain ready, so it dries and, quickly and it doesn't run off. But I understand people's concerns. It's still a chemical. You wouldn't want to eat it.
Yeah, and like Roundup is still, you can still buy Roundup at like Home Depot and stuff, and, people would choose not to use that now because now it is a unknown carcinogen.
Yeah.
I use a natural chemical called burnout that you can get. Yeah, now it's very expensive, but I don't use a lot of it anyway, so I use this other natural stuff.
For like knotweed or something like that, or just,
It's
weed.
non-selective, so it'll kill whatever you spray it on. Like Roundup will too, but it's salts.
oh, okay.
There's supposed to be another product too, that's oils, different types of oils, clove oil, I think is the main ingredient. And I see it advertised, but I can't even get it. You can't even get it. It's hard to get into the burnout. Last year I had to order it special. There's not too many people are buying it. It's not
What-
as effective, it's a lot more expensive, and time consuming. You have to do everything more times.
I think the major concern at the time though was like, is the town common, kids, dogs, they're all playing in there, and
Well, and that's why, I think, that's why it was posted, just to make the public aware, and, is there a good time to do it, and again, this is the fourth year that we've used the company, and we've done the Common, we've done the Town Hall, we've done Riverfront Park, and we've posted all those facilities, when we spray. It's part of the maintenance plan.
do you do it repeatedly, or just?
It's
No, and also, I should mention, it was a spot treatment with that chemical. We don't just blanket anything.
Oh, okay.
Spot, spot treatment, and you see, dandelion or something,
where needed, yeah.
Yeah. And the three chemicals she's talking about, it's a spot treatment.
Are we using anything else anyplace else? I mean, what do they use at the schools and that?
Yeah, it's similar program.
Mhm.
Also, we use, what the state wants you to do is use an IPM program, Integrated Pest Management, and you want to try to get you to use as many cultural practices as you can, routine monitoring, and then chemicals when you need to. You don't just use them preventatively, and I know lots of people who do, just use them we don't do that, we monitor and just use it when we have to.
Yep.
Because it kills your budget for one thing, and it's not good, we don't like, using it when we don't have to. Sometimes it's necessary for the product that people want from us.
And Jim is certified through the
Right.
state to spray pesticides, and so I guess the question is, we look into the organic cost.
Yeah, I think if you could, that would probably,
I can give you just, roughly, I don't know how much detail you want, you want to get into now, but this is what most people are talking about. Corn gluten meal, that's what they use. And, the common is about a half an acre. So to cover that, we need 16 bags at $40 a piece. So it's $640.
and you couldn't do a spot with that, you have to
No.
treat the whole thing.
And you have to do it every 4 weeks. So right there, you're up to over $2,500. That's the minimal you can do. And then if you read the bag, it says if you want good results, you should double it. So you're up to over 5,000. Not to mention all the work of doing it, picking up this product and storing it and moving it and putting it down. And then some people will say, if you really want it to work, you got to triple it. And you have to really time it well. It has to be put down and watered in immediately, and then it has to be dry for 1 to 3 days, figure 2 days after that, which means it's really hard to put it down in April. Like, I couldn't do it this week, and this would be the week you'd have to do it, because otherwise, you're wasting a lot of money if it didn't work. And then you have to do that 4 times every year, and because it doesn't kill established weeds, it'll only kill weeds that haven't come up yet. So it has to be timed. If your timing is off, they're going to come up, and then it's not going to kill them.
So that's a pre-emergence you're talking about, whereas Roundup is a post-emergent.
Right.
Yeah.
And so your timing has to be done, and in the summer, it's got to, when it's time to do it again, 4 weeks' time, you don't have rain coming, because we have no irrigation on the common. And that's just for the weeds. And then if you want to use more organite or something for the fertilizer, that's another product you'd have to put down 4 times a year. And that's going to cost you about $128 each time. Of course, it's a lot more work. That's another $500. So and you really, if you're going to do it, you need a commitment of 4 to 5 years, because they say the first year you get 25%,
Yep.
and then the second year 50, the third year 75, and then you start. So you really need a commitment if you're going to do it at all to do it, and you really got to be good with the timing. So it makes it really difficult.
Cost prohibitive, really.
Could we rototill it and just put down wood chips and,
That would be good.
just a thought.
Mike?
So I've been licensed with the state since the mid-'80s, late '80s, I guess. And Roundup is not a restricted pesticide. It is. You can just walk it and get it, whereas the harmful, the stuff that's probably a lot more higher level of danger, you have to have a license, like Jim, a commercial license, or myself, a private applicator's license, to buy the stuff that's at a much higher level than Roundup. Roundup has been around at least 15 years. You do see commercials from the ambulance chasers, I guess. The nice thing about Roundup, this is their claim, and that once it hits the ground, it is inactive. So it's on the plant itself, the weeds. Once that ROI, return entry period, is up, which I believe is 2 days, then you're fine to go back. No, 24 hours. I can't remember what the ROI is.
Roundup, I'm not sure.
I think it's like 24 hours. That's why they have to post it, and then you're able to go right back in. And again, once it's on the ground, it's no longer a hazard to people. So that's my experience with Roundup. And I use the 43%. They might only be using the 18%, but it's not one of the harsh chemicals.
You want to use it correctly.
And they don't want to use it more than what, because it's going to cost, their costs are going to go up if they use too much of it. So they want to use, and they have certain guidelines for the application of what they're using it for. So they've got to follow the rules.
And I would say, just guessing, you'd spend more your first year just on the common than I've spent to do the common, town hall, and riverfront park altogether, 10 years. And it's not going to be, so it's not going to be as cheap, it's not going to be effective, it's not going to be as efficient.
Okay.
Which is too bad. I wish there was a simpler way. It'd be great. I wish there was, but I haven't found it. I've heard things. And then there's also, if you have grubs, if you have a pest, that's another whole natural program that you have to have a 2-year commitment to do, and it requires, watering. And again, we don't have irrigation, so it makes everything more difficult.
And if you look at it, the container that they're probably using to spray, it's not like that is all chemical. 99.9% of that is water.
Right.
And the chemical probably might be a measuring cup. That's the 43% is the chemical, so only half of that measuring cup, if they're even using that amount, it's probably a lot less on the common. So it can be deceiving when you see the spray equipment that they might use.
That individual that raised a concern, was she satisfied with, the explanation of
Yeah,
what you offer?
and I know she does want me to get back to her, at the time, I didn't know that we were coming here, but I guess it's the question of where do we move forward? Do we want to switch? It's going to take time. It's not in the budget right now.
Yeah.
Whether we continue to, go with the company that we have and have had in use for the last 3 to 4 years. That also does the schools, I believe. It's the same company that does the schools too. So we can talk to them, and I don't know if this is something that I would put the responsibility on my guys to do, or my department to do. I think this would have to be a contracted job out, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's
We
much.
may have to do the watering, but I don't know.
That's all they do, and they have the proper equipment, expensive equipment that I don't have. I
Yeah.
mean, it's much
Yeah,
more
It
efficient.
would make sense to stay with them, but I think we just need to meet with them, or meet with a rep, and come up with a solution, and then maybe
Yep,
Come back.
bring it back.
Bring it
Yeah,
back.
just check on it and
Yeah.
see, and see what's there and what's available, and
And we
and then
don't
just
have
report
to
back.
necessarily go a all-natural program. I mean, we could go, just, regular fertilizer, right, isn't dangerous just because it's
Yep.
chemically engineered. And basically, I mean, I get that almost for free.
Yep.
And it's really good, and I can apply it.
Yep.
It's a kind of a newer product. I think I was the first one to use it in this area on our fields. We used to have to apply it 3 times a year, especially on our high-use fields in the common. 3 times a year, so you have to get a tractor, you have to take off your implement that's on there, put on another implement, put it down. Now they have one, you put it down 1 time, and it slow release, and it lasts the whole year.
Yep.
And you save on fuel and costs and pollution, so there's that side of it too. And I can do that I could still do that on the common, I would think. We don't have to kill the weeds. You can monitor them and wait till they get bad enough where somebody says something and then do maybe a one-time, spray.
Look at several options and see, and then just bring it back, and we can discuss it in a work session and see where we
Yeah,
go.
it'd be a time frame. I don't know,
Yeah.
what,
No, I mean, it's been treated and
Yeah.
it's been taken care of, but yeah, before we
I don't
do
know,
it
Is
again.
there anything else scheduled for them to come back in the near future here on the common?
No, and I know some people, if they do research on True Green has pretty big programs that they try to sell,
Mhm.
and they are, way overkill, I think. We have no program.
Yep.
Call them when we want something and have them do that.
Yep.
We're not on a program with them at all. Just what we need, when we need it, and monitor it, and we seeded it and aerated it last year, and
Mm.
it was a
Well, we
tough-
we have the same thing at the golf course, and you gotta, if you're the applicator, you gotta be careful and don't expose the skin and everything
Yep.
else, so, yeah. Do you have anything to add, Paul, or?
Just one question, Jim. Does it kill a lot more grass the organic way
Will it kill a lot more
of the grass,
of the grass?
not just the weeds?
Um,
I had one selectman that wanted me to mention tonight about what happened to the fields at the school, where it burnt all the field one time.
He mentioned that to me, and just very briefly, and I don't actually remember that. I don't recall that happening. Another thing is with the natural stuff, it keeps anything from coming up, so you can't overseed.
That's it.
If you want to overseed, you
Yeah, I
can't.
think that's what happened at that
I
particular
think that's what he
time.
meant.
Yeah, you can't overseed, and
Because we get complaints here about too many weeds also, so. Well, our biggest catch-22 is the money,
Yep,
because every bit of money that we have left in that line right now, we're trying to replace trees,
yep,
because we're dealing with that problem.
okay. So if you guys can just check into it for us and see what we've got, and whenever you get it, we can talk about, meet in the work session.
Well, we certainly didn't
and
mean to
discuss it. No,
put an
and-
alarm out and we
no,
We appreciate-
it's a situation where it happens, and, you might do it for 5 years and nobody says anything, nothing happens, and then one year somebody does, and so that's what it is, and it wasn't anything intentional. It's what we do and how we treat it, and, so.
Okay.
Any other comments or anything? Okay, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the info, and thank you for your job.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Sean is not here? Okay. All right. Do we have any correspondence or anything? Committee report? Mike?
So the parking committee had their first meeting last week. I believe it was Friday. We talked about the meters. We talked about that new parking spots for Plymouth isn't just going to materialize. That they're not over-expecting, I don't think, at this point, a whole lot of spaces. So the topic pivoted somewhat to enforcement of the parking spots that are out there in Plymouth. I had a meeting with Brian and Joe on Green Street to look at some potential spots, and hopefully there still are some potential spots. Maybe Paul could speak on that possibly. And then I had another meeting with Brian and Mike Vignali on the site on South Main Street to potentially look at parking possibilities on the Plymouth Inn site, which Mike's going to look at it through some mapping that he has to see whether it is even feasible or not. The next meeting for the parking committee is this Thursday at 8:30 from across the hall. That's all I have.
Bill?
Planning board met. There was property line adjustment, a boundary line adjustment brought by Mike Ahern. It was approved. And there was also an application, actually, it was a site plan review for the old, it was like a lumber, store on Tenny Mountain Highway, right by Yetton Road. And that has like this row of, they used to be just storage areas for lumber. That's going to be torn down, and 2 storage container buildings will be put up. And that was approved as well. And we have a PERLAC meeting tomorrow night, and one of the things we will be doing ultimately is to do a site review of this Bristol riverfront, park and walking path. And I gave the heads up to Rebecca as well as Lisa Donor to see if the Planning Board and Conservation Commission want to join Nick Coates and PERLAC and see if that's something that we might be able to attempt in Plymouth as well, because they've been talking about a riverfront path for quite some time now. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, I didn't have anything. Any public comment?
Can I ask a question?
Yes. You want to come up here to the... All right, go ahead.
Speak loudly. We have a microphone right here now.
Right. All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm pretty loud. I'm just curious, being a newer resident to Plymouth, how this probably isn't going to pertain to this meeting, and I will be here tomorrow night possibly for the water and sewer meeting. But I'm curious how they told me, so I thought they were a for-profit entity, but they are not for-profit, and they consider themselves a village. So can somebody explain how that all works? Because I've never had to deal
You're
with
talking about water and sewer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water and sewer is actually a municipality. They're not part of the town.
So I understand
They're
that.
not a village.
They told me they were considered a village.
It's the Village Water and Sewer District. They're a district. It's because everybody, so you're new to Plymouth?
Yes.
Everybody in Plymouth, like myself, not everybody has water and sewer. So if you do have water and sewer, you're part of the village district. So they're the Plymouth Water and Sewer Village District. But they're a municipality just like the town's a municipality, but we're not one and the same. So I don't, you want to know how this is able to be?
Yeah, kind of.
Welcome to New Hampshire. Are you from New Hampshire?
Well, when my bill tripled this past month, it was kind of,
Okay, that's not us.
I know it wasn't, I know that now.
But are you from New Hampshire?
What's that?
Are you from New Hampshire?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in New Hampshire, no, there's more than a dozen towns that have their water and sewer separate from the town, and that is a village district.
Okay.
They operate almost under the same rules that the Board of Selectmen have to operate. Like when they can conduct their meetings, when they can't have a meeting, what has to be public, what has to be non-public. But they really do not have anything to do with the town itself. And they are allowed to be a district and a village because not everybody in the town has access to their product.
So do those people that are serviced by them have voting rights?
Yes.
Absolutely. And their meeting happens in March, I believe, the week after ours.
But they have a public hearing before that. They have a budget process that they have to go through that you can attend. They meet usually the day after us. We meet twice a month. They meet on the Tuesday after our meeting. So the schedules are almost similar. Outside of that, we are two separate entities.
Thank you.
All right.
But we're getting a lot of calls about that.
I worry about people on fixed incomes like my parents.
Well, and
And single parents, and it's not
Yes.
easy.
Two of our selectmen,
I'm on the water district too, and we went to the meeting, and it's been a challenge. So but they do have a meeting, and it's open to the public, and just go express your feelings.
I hate to say it, but it does worry me. I mean, they should be strategically planning for infrastructure, and to all of a sudden have these massive balloon
And
challenges for people on fixed incomes, I find outrageous.
and some of those people that have needs, can turn to the water district and to the town, to the welfare, to help them out. But yeah, we've had this situation come up before about 10 years ago, and they had no increases for 10 years. But hold on.
And they also
Yeah.
have a board. There's a 3-member board that oversees the activities of water and sewer district. And if you have a political bent, you want to communicate through that board, you get elected to the board itself. And I don't know if it's like every
year.
year, but it's a 3-year term or something, or it's a 3-year term. So
It's 3 commissioners instead of selectmen. They're not a governing body. But tomorrow night's structure will be very similar to tonight. I believe they do have a public comment at the end. But just like this meeting, public comment isn't a requirement of a meeting. So I don't want to say that you're definitely going to get a chance to speak, but I would imagine you probably would be able to.
I'm just more curious, this is a new, I lived in Meredith for a good portion of my life in New Hampshire, and just very unfamiliar with how things are being done around here, so, thank you.
Well, you can also go down to the office during the day, and there are people available, and you can talk to them down there, and get on the agenda if you so desire.
And if you do go through this riverfront,
I mean,
I would love to be on the committee.
all right.
Committee for what?
Hmm?
I'm sorry. First, I need your name for the record, that's all.
Tammy Levesque, thank you.
And what was the last comment about being on the committee?
The riverfront with Nick Coates, I worked in public
Oh.
health, and so
Yes.
I've worked with Nick before, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I would love to be involved.
Okay, I can contact you. You can probably join. We're actually setting up for a site, walk, if this is what you want to participate on, and maybe just have a chance to ask questions. But PERLAC is the Pemon Wasat River Local Advisory Committee, which is separate from, this town. It's actually made up of volunteers from 6 towns that border the Pemon Wasat River. And so Nick has been pursuing this for several years, and finally got the money and the organization to. We're still got a couple of hurdles yet to go, but the park itself will consist of like a 20-mile trail that's going to hit another trail and hill, and so.
Is this separate from the rail to trail?
No, it's a part of that.
It is part of it.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's great.
But that's Bristol.
That's
You're-
Bristol, yeah. Yeah, because Nick is the administrator of Bristol. So,
That's great.
but if you want to give us your contact information, to let you know what's going on with that. But,
Well, thank you very much, and welcome to Plymouth.
we don't have a lake, by the way.
Any other public comments? Okay. All right.
You do have a non-public.
Okay. All right, so Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we go into non-public.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.